Hello. So this is going to be just my April wrap up because I read over 20 books because they were all volumes of manga. I'm just going to run through them really quick. I'll give a little synopsis of some of the stories, but not too in-depth. I'm not going to go in order of how I read them because I split up series a little bit. So I'm going to group them by series. And we're going to start with Fairy Tail, What I Continued. I read volumes 9 through 16. Volume 9, I believe, is where we start getting Loki's past and all of that goes with that. And then up to volume 16 is where they start the Alliance of Official Guilds and we meet Wendy. After that, I read the first volume of Ramen Wolf and Curry Tiger, which is essentially just a story about two friends who go to different places every week for food. Like they have a lunch date kind of thing once a week and they go try out new places. It's very wholesome. It's very cute. And it's literally just two adult guy friends. One is a wolf, one is a tiger. It's just really cute. Hellsing Volume 1, which I'm not entirely sure how to feel about because inherently in the story, there is a lot of bigotry and things of that nature because it's a story about vampires, essentially. And Hellsing is a company that was made that eradicates vampires and supernatural beings and whatnot. And the main guy, Alucard, is essentially a vampire on steroids. So he is employed. He was created by Hellsing, the company. So he's kind of their trump card for dealing with supernatural beings, vampires mostly. With that, this also deals with the Protestants versus Catholics kind of history. So there's a lot of that, and it's very much religiously ingrained into the story. So hello, ma'am. This is also an older manga, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that. But I do have volume 2 from the library that I will read just to see where it goes. You gonna say hi? So yeah, we'll see. Next, I read the first volume of Assassination Classroom. This one I started reading because the anime is one of my all-time favorite animes. So I thought I would read the manga. Okay, alright, I just have a cat on my lap then. So I read volume 1 this month, and I have 2 through 5, I think, from the library right now. And then next, I read Dawn of the Arcana. I read the first 4 volumes. This was a manga that I've read before as a teenager, and I really, really loved it, so now this is kind of like a reread for me. Hello, ma'am. And in this one, kind of the synopsis is that they're in royalty. Only black hair is usually the norm, and only royals born with black hair essentially have power. But the main female character has red hair, and she's from a different kingdom. They propose this marriage between the two kingdoms who are fighting, and there's a lot of political intrigue with this one that happens because of the warring kingdoms and the kind of discrimination, the hatred that people have for people born with red hair. There is a scene where they try and dye her hair, and it is very emotionally powered. But the characters in this one, it's a lot of give and take, like ebb and flow with character growth. Especially with the prince, who starts out being kind of hateful and bullying her. And the next one I read was volume 1 of Secrets of the Silent Witch, which the synopsis for that one is essentially what the title is. There is a witch who, in this world, magic can only be cast with incantations. And this witch, the reason she's called the Silent Witch is because she can cast magic without speaking. So she ends up getting tasked to go to this boarding school to essentially be bodyguard to the prince. I only read the first volume, and not much happens in that regard, so I don't know. Don't know where it's going to go. The next one I read was technically a graphic novel, but it's also a webtoon. It was God of High School. I read the first compiled volume, which I believe is episodes 1 through 12 of the webtoon. And this one, it is essentially a tournament called the God of High School, and it's just a bunch of teenagers who fight each other with martial arts. That's essentially it. This one was very wacky and crazy. And then the next one I read was volume 0 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't read any of the others yet, but I did pick up the first 3 from the library today. And volume 0 essentially is the prequel that follows Okotsu Yuta's story and how he came to Jujutsu and everything, where he essentially cursed his friend, and she followed him around as a curse. And yeah. And then the next one I read was My Happy Marriage. I read the first volume of that one. Oh my god. So this one was recommended to me by a friend. I don't know how long ago. And I'm finally getting around to reading it. And it essentially follows this girl who is from a noble family. And all of the noble families in this world have a gift specific to their family. So her family, what her gift is supposed to be is spirit sight. But her mother's side of the family is like, gift is emotional manipulation, essentially. And she, unfortunately, does not have the gift, but she is married off to another lord of another noble family after being abused and meant to act as a servant in her own household, where she is supposed to be a lady of high standing. After her mother died, her stepmother came in and did all that. And her father, because she doesn't have the gift, took her stepmother's side and ended up abusing and treating her the same. So she is married off, or sent as the fiance, to this nobleman, and he has a reputation for being like cold-hearted and ruthless and constantly kicking out his fiancées when they don't even make it to the official betrothal stage. This one is very emotionally packed because of the abuse that the main character endured in her own household, where she was supposed to be treated like nobility, like that she is, and she wasn't. She was treated like a servant. She was made to act and do chores and everything like a servant. And it's just the people-pleasing trauma that came from that she is now learning to undo in her fiance's household. Crazy. I'm in the middle of volume 2 right now. And the last one that I literally finished today was done volume 1. And I only have 3 words for that, and it's what the fuck? Like, what did I just read? Because what the fuck is that series? I have volume 2, I'm gonna read volume 2. And I was already warned about the things that happen where, like, he gets cursed and then Turbo Granny and everything like that. And I still, reading it, was shell-shocked. I was literally talking to myself reading it. Like, what the fuck is this series? What even is this story? There's aliens, there's ghosts. Everyone is horny for some reason. And I'm gonna read volume 2, but I don't know. So yeah, that's all the books I read in April. In a random rambling of my thoughts that are not coherent at all. And a growling cat. So that's it for today.